Okay, welcome back. We are now gonna go into a motion to come out of camera. Motion reads that council do now rise from the in-camera session at 6:49 PM. And report on confidential verbal item regarding litigation or potential litigation, including matters before administrative tribunals affecting the municipality or local board. Advice is subject to solicitor-client privilege, including communications necessary for that purpose, the Ontario Land Tribunal. Mover and seconder, please. Deputy Mayor Weiser, Councillor Chilcott will second. All in favor? That's carried. The motion is that confidential verbal item regarding litigation or potential litigation, including matters before administrative tribunals affecting the municipality or local board. Advice is subject to solicitor-client privilege, including communications necessary for that purpose. The Ontario Land Tribunal will receive for information, and that staff proceed as directed. I need a mover and seconder. Deputy Mayor Weiser and Councillor Chilcott will second. All in favor? That's carried. Perfect. We have no minutes.
Not today.
Okay. Which brings us to section 4, reports to council. Item A, report DR 0123 by Steve Adams, Manager of Public Works, Drainage Superintendent, regarding petition for drainage at 1162991 Ontario Limited. Concession 9, part lots 23 and 24. Are you taking that this evening, Steve?
Yes, your worship, I'll be Steve this evening. The report before you is because we have received a petition for drainage, as Mr. Mayor has noted, on the lands known as concession 9, part lots 23 and 24. This is situated on the east side of Plank Road, north of the recently developed parcels north of the village of Eden. 1162991 Ontario Limited is that's who owns the lands. The petition was signed by Curtis Van Quethen or Quatham. This individual is or has already been granted consent approval subject to conditions. So this is one of the conditions for ensuring drainage is proper from both the county standpoint and from Bayham. So this is the process they need to go through. So a petition for drainage is for council to consider if you would like to appoint an engineer to continue this on. And this is before you tonight because we needed to get direction for this within 30 days of receiving that petition. So if council is agreeable to appointing an engineer, then staff would take it. We're recommending Spreets Associates, and we would take it from there. He's on.
Okay, thank you for that report, Megan. Does anyone have any questions or concerns regarding this? This is a standard petition. Okay, seeing no concerns, then the motion would read that report DR 0123 regarding the petition for drainage for 1162991 Ontario Limited be received, and that council, the corporation and municipality of Bayham acknowledges the filing with the clerk of the petition for drainage works from 1162991 Ontario Limited, Curtis Van Quatham, and that council wishes to proceed with this matter and appoints Spreet Associates Limited engineers prepare a report on the proposed drainage area pursuant to section 5 and section 8(1) of the Drainage Act for council's consideration. We have a mover and seconder. Everyone. Councillor Emerson and Councillor Froese will second. All in favor? That's carried. We're gonna test the generator.
Yeah.
Item B, report DS 4323 by Thomas Thayer, CAO, regarding the second quarter report. Good evening, Thomas.
Evening, Mr. Mayor. So this report is the standard quarterly building report that comes forward to present building activities for the previous quarter. This is a little bit different of a format than previous. Previous reports had building and drainage done as one report. And now that we are engaged in a shared service agreement with Malahide, we're going to be splitting the two out. It is expected that for Q3 of this year and going forward that the CBO will provide the building reports, and the drainage reports will come forward from the manager of public works and drainage superintendent. So he will have the Q2 drainage report on the July 20th meeting. For this one before you are the building department stats for Q2 of this year. They are presented in the table at the bottom of page 1 and compare this past quarter with second quarters from 2021 and 2022. What you will notice is that the permit fees and construction values are relatively similar between last year's Q2 and this year's Q2. We did have another couple of permits issued right at the end of the day on Thursday, but it was after the agenda was out. So the permit values and construction values are increased a little bit based upon or relative to what is in the report. It's interesting to note that we did issue 5 permits for houses, and this compares to 2 permits in Q1 and 0 in Q4 of last year. So it is promising to see the number of house permits starting to increase once again, particularly in the current monetary policy environment. Mr. Mayor, we'll leave it with you if there are any questions. Otherwise, the recommendation is to receive for information.
Okay, thank you for that report. And I'm just reading the notes here. So the similar construction values for 23 and 22 and the permit fees, and it's a lot to deal with those 2 industrial permits that came online. Is that what the explanation is?
Yes, the house permits and the industrial permits very much provided the bulk of the permit fees. And of that, it would have been mostly the industrial permits, and those would have been stemming from site plan applications that were approved.
Okay, thank you for that. Does anyone from council have any questions on this report? Okay, still, it's very encouraging considering what interest rates are doing, that we still have some activity going on in the community. Seeing no further questions, then we have the motion that staff report DS 4323 regarding second quarter report be received for information. Do I have a mover and seconder, please? Councillor Chilcott will move. Deputy Mayor Weiser will second. All in favor? That's carried. Moving on with report CAO 3823 by Thomas Thayer, CAO 2023 to 2026 Bayham Community Strategic Plan adoption.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. This report follows one that was received by council earlier this year. We engaged Jennifer Kirkham to conduct a review and prepare a strategic plan for the current term of council. This was a capital item that was approved last December officially in our capital budget, item GG02. So we presented a report at the February 16th meeting that outlined strategic directions, goals, objectives, and some proposed initiatives for the plan. And at that time, council approved what was presented to council and requested that a final version of the strategic plan be brought forward before council for consideration. So a final draft is attached to this report. The plan incorporates the previously approved directions, objectives, and initiatives, and utilizes select photos from around Bayham, emphasizing the landscape and key community features and attractions. The primary addition to this version of the strat plan are the initiatives, which are elaborated upon on pages 11, 12, and 13 of the document. And they're associated with key directions and objectives. So these initiatives provide council staff and the community a level of detail not found in the previous strategic plan, and note key initiatives, including things like improved communication, encouraging strategic development and a mix of housing types, enhancing the East Beach, rehabilitating the lighthouse, focusing investment on core infrastructure, and then retiring the debt associated with the Ojibwa. And the intent of the initiatives is that staff will be able to specifically identify in a staff report to which initiative an item may apply, which will give council and residents more information regarding how the municipality is adhering to and implementing a strategic plan during the current council term. Also worth noting that not everything that comes before council will be tied specifically to an initiative, but this is done as another layer of granularity to provide that enhanced communication to residents. So with that, Mr. Mayor, the strat plan and report are before you and council for consideration. Staff are recommending adoption as presented, and after adoption, we will be uploading this to the website under studies for public consumption, and we'll be utilizing this as a guiding document for staff reports for the balance of the term. So I will leave that with you and council.
Thank you for the report, Thomas. Does anyone have any questions, concerns, comments? Thomas, I certainly appreciate the fact that it will, if adopted, be made public through the website. One question, is there any consideration of perhaps having a few paper copies around?
We can certainly make a few paper copies available at the municipal office for consumption that way. That is not a problem, but as we are trying to shift more of our communication online as sort of a preceding approach to our new website, and council consideration of social media will be, continuously trying to leverage our website and increase capacity to get that information out there.
Understood, just not everyone is on the website or on or even tech savvy. I'm just thinking a few copies would be available. In fact, perhaps the mayor would like to have one that he could slip in his back pocket and take around with him. Laptop's a little big to carry around with me.
That's not a problem.
Okay. Anything additional from council? Okay. Motion reads that CAO or report CAO 3823 regarding the 2023-2026 BAM Community Street Strategic Plan adoption be received for information, and that council adopt the 2023-2026 BAM Community Strategic Plan. Mover and seconder, please. Councillor Chilcott will move. Councillor Emerson will second. All in favor? That is carried. Thank you. Item D, report CAO 3923 by Thomas Thayer, CAO regarding amendments to the joint multi-year accessibility plan.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Once more, so this report and the one following this are both accessibility reports, deal with a similar item, and both of these were presented to Elgin County Council in July or January, or the other June. So this one comes forward because of suggested amendments to our existing joint multi-year accessibility plan. Council did approve the current joint multi-year accessibility plan in December of 2021. It is currently posted on the website. At the June 13, 2023 meeting of Elgin County Council, the accessibility coordinator presented a report regarding amendments to the accessibility plan. The report is attached here too, and a copy of the as revised joint multi-year accessibility plan as well. The amendments include additions for the Heritage Center and some of their goals and objectives over the balance of the term. And this was something that wasn't included in the original iteration of the plan. So given that they have a heritage component and are an accessible facility in Elgin County, it was opted that they be included as a standalone entity within the plan. And to ensure that everything is duly adopted as a joint plan, it has to go to all lower tier councils for review and adoption. So it is before you, Mr. Mayor and Council, for consideration. The staff recommendation is to receive for information and that the revisions be adopted within the joint multi-year accessibility plan as presented, and then further posted on the website.
Thank you for the report, Thomas. Any questions, concerns? As was previously stated, this was adopted by Elgin County back in June, and another example of synergy existing between the local municipal partners and the upper tier. So if we didn't have Elgin in this case, we'd have to do our own. Okay. If there are no questions or concerns, then the recommendation is that report CAO 3923 regarding amendments to joint multi-year accessibility plan be received for information, and that the joint multi-year accessibility plan be adopted as presented and posted on the municipal website. Do I have a mover and seconder, please? Deputy Mayor Weiser will move, Counselor Chilcott will second, all in favor. That's carried. Item E, report CAO 4023 by Thomas Thayer, CAO Clerk, regarding the 2022 Joint Annual Accessibility Status Report. Thomas.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, once more. So we have to produce and adopt a joint accessibility report on an annual basis as part of the Integrated Accessibility Standards Regulation. And since this is a joint multi-year accessibility plan with Elgin County and the other lower tiers in Elgin County, this has to be reviewed and adopted by not only the county, but all the lower tiers. So our joint multi-year accessibility plan was adopted in 2021 and then just adopted as revised at this meeting. Coming out of that multi-year accessibility plan is a 2022 status report. So through the coordination of the accessibility coordinator, Elgin County Council received and approved this status report at its June 13th meeting this year. And the accessibility coordinator is requesting that all lower tier municipalities in Elgin County receive and adopt this report and post it on their respective municipal websites to ensure compliance with AODA and the Integrated Accessibility Standards Regulation. So the status report is before council for consideration. Staff are recommending receive for information and to be approved as presented and posted on the website. Mr. Mayor, I will leave it with you.
Thank you for that report, Thomas. Any questions, concerns? You're getting away fairly lucky tonight. Okay, the motion would read that report CAO 4023 regarding the 2022 Joint Annual Accessibility Status Report be received for information, and that the 2022 Joint Annual Accessibility Status Report be approved as presented and posted on the municipal website. Do I have a mover and seconder? Counselor Froese will move and Counselor Chilcott will second. All in favor? That's carried. We're gonna have to do a lot of filibustering to get us to 10.
No, I can't talk that.
Okay. Section 5, the confirming bylaw. So the motion would read that confirming bylaw number 2023-057 be read a first, second, and third time and finally passed. I need a mover and seconder. Counselor Chilcott will move. Deputy Mayor Weiser will second. All in favor? That's carried. Which brings us to the adjournment motion that the July 6th, 2023 special council meeting be adjourned at 7:06 p.m. Did I say June or July?
But it's 7:06.
Oh, yes. Wow. Ooh, maybe we should stretch this out. Yeah, better pass in a hurry.
7:07 soon.
Yeah. Do we have a mover and seconder, please? Dan Froese would move and Deputy Mayor Weiser will second. All in favor? That is carried. Thank you for joining us this evening. We will see you next time.